Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be reacting to Jay Reatard, Death is Forming. I know my fair bit about Jay, but I will talk about it more after the song is done. But yeah, let's get to it. Bum, bum, bum. This is boring. It's been a while since I listened to Jay, and this is even better than what I remember. I really got into his music and into his other side band that he had, which is called The Lost Sounds. I think he formed it with a girlfriend. I don't really know her name. But I did see in an interview where they asked him about The Lost Sounds, and he said, well, sometimes you got a girlfriend and you start a new wave group. But yeah, I think his band, which is a three-piece, is way more known than The Lost Sounds, but I really like The Lost Sounds. But anyway, this album, Blood Visions, this guy is another one of those artists that I discovered through a music documentary. I saw his music documentary on Crackle, of all places. There was a music documentary on Jay. And it speaks about his life, it shows a little bit of his music, and I got really interested in his life. Became interested in him as a person, you know what I mean? And he did his fair share of stuff, he wasn't no saint. But he was also very passionate about making music. And I think in the documentary, they talk about Blood Visions, which is this album. And in this album, if I'm not mistaken, he did it all by himself. He recorded the guitars, the bass, the drums, all by himself, even though he's not really a drummer. But I think he knows how to drum enough to make, you know, his own kind of songs. And that really shows when like a person is very passionate about music. There's a lot of artists, I think Daniel Johnston is another one of them, for example, that are very passionate about music, but they're very alone, you know what I mean? Alone in the process. It's like a process that they have that like maybe, sometimes when you love music and you want to do music, sometimes you may not have people around you that are available or, you know, have that interest, right? So what you do is, because you're so passionate about music, is you learn how to play the bass, you learn how to play the guitar, you learn how to sing, and you learn how to play the drums even a little bit. Because that way you can do it all yourself, right? And that's what Jay did. And if you look at the songs like it has like a very pulsing beat and very layered guitars. I actually use that dynamic in one of my songs too. And I think subconsciously I may have picked it up from songs like this, you know what I mean? Yeah, but yeah, it goes and the drum is like pa 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 pa, which is just I imagine goes like this. But it really has some creative changes. It sounds very punkish, but like very creative punkish. You know what I mean? boom, that little change is really cool. And then he like extends this a little bit. We're like, this is boring, bam, 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 boom, boom, boom. That is for me, that is for me, that. Then he goes into that part. And the drums are really cool, even though at parts they're like, obviously they sound a little bit amateur, but that's part of the punk feel too, right? It works for it. This particular is a solo project, and it sounds very different than him with his band, and it sounds very different with his other project, which is Lost Sounds. And I think he had another project with another girl that I didn't particularly really get into. But I think he had like 4 bands. He was really like passionate about making music and making all kinds of different music. Yeah, he was a very interesting and creative guy. I mean, I like his music. So yeah, this was Reatard. That's for me. If anybody has any recommendations, post them in the comments below, and I'll be sure to react to it. See you guys later.